take a walk on the woo-woo side with me. My name is Michelle Douglas and I am an intuitive healer, transformation coach, and advanced soul realignment practitioner, amongst other things. I am on a mission to empower you to make the right soul-aligned choices so that you can create all of the health, wealth, love, happiness, and success that you desire in your life. If the content in today's episode resonates with you, be sure to visit findmysparkle.com or selfconfidence101.com. See you there. Hello, lovelies. Today we're going to be talking about how to manifest abundance with decluttering. And today I'm sure you're wondering, can decluttering actually help with manifesting? And I can tell you right now that the answer is a resounding yes. So next we're going to talk about the vacuum law of prosperity. So before coming up with today's content, I dug out Bob Proctor's Born Rich book, which was published in 1984, which is long before I even knew about Bob or the law of attraction for that matter. And the chapter about this law starts off with the following quote: "Nature absolutely abhors a vacuum." So Bob goes on in this chapter to talk about his Aunt Marg, who taught him this concept, and begins with a story where she's complaining about the drapes in her living room. She tells Bob that she hates them, but he replies saying, "No, you don't, Marg. You love them. Otherwise, you wouldn't have kept them for so long, and you wouldn't have kept them so close to you." He continued on, "For the only things we have in our life are those things that we love or are in harmony with." Now that last bit, the harmony bit, you've got to remember here. Marg clearly wasn't about to agree with the loving her drapes part, and Marg's husband, Don, thought they'd both gone off their rockers for even attempting to understand what Bob was explaining, and Bob for actually believing it. Bob then went on to explain that if a person remains continually in close proximity with something or someone, then it can only be because they are in vibrational alignment with that person or thing. And I talk about this all the time, right? He then said to Marg that if she really hated those drapes as she claimed she did, then she would have already have taken them down. Clearly Don wasn't happy with the prospect of the drapes coming down so the neighbours could look in, and they weren't yet in a position to buy new ones to replace them. So Bob said to Don, "Don, please understand, you will never hang new drapes or new curtains until you have first made a space for them. Indeed, the real secret behind the vacuum law of prosperity lies in the fact that giving the old drapes away, you would automatically have been making room for the new. In other words, you can't get something until you are first willing to give something away. You must make space for it first." When Bob talks about giving something away, he's talking about letting go of it completely. And this can be extremely difficult if that thing is a person or something material that you've been holding on to for a long time. So, what did Marge do with her drapes? Marg decided to take the drapes down, Don wasn't happy, and immediately removed the source of her negative emotions and thoughts about them. So remember, if you're constantly thinking and feeling negatively, you're creating potential circumstances which match that energy. I don't have to spell that out because it's true. So for a while, Don and Marg lived without drapes on their windows, and then eventually items of furniture faced the same fate. Then over time, all of those items, including the drapes, were eventually replaced, and their living room became a source of positive thoughts and emotions instead of the negative thoughts and emotions which had plagued Marg previously. So the key to manifest abundance with decluttering. So when you declutter, you're literally creating energetic space. How that space is refilled isn't something you need to worry about. That's letting go of the how. And when Marg began taking down the drapes to give away, she had no idea how they'd replace them because at the time they didn't have the money to do so. Then before long, not only had the drapes been replaced, but all of their furniture too. In other words, the process of decluttering helped them to manifest abundance in the form of new drapes and furniture. Because remember, abundance isn't necessarily money. It could be items that could be purchased with money, right? So you just don't know how it's going to come about. So how can you begin to declutter? If you're thinking that it might be time to get rid of some clutter and therefore create some energetic space to bring in more of what you want, you might want to start off with your wardrobe or your closet if you're in America and go through everything. Find out what doesn't fit, throw it out, put it in a bag and donate it to charity. Don't sell it, give it away. And what's going to happen, and this has happened to me so many times, I've done this process a million times in my life, somehow the items get replaced and the cupboards are full again, right? How you can begin to declutter. Okay, so if you're thinking that it might be time to get rid of some clutter and therefore create some energetic space to bring in more of what you want, start small if you have to. Start in your kitchen, start in your bedroom, it doesn't matter. Pick one room or even one corner of a room and start going through what either doesn't bring you joy or is something that you just don't use and probably never will use. So as I said, start small. Eventually, you'll become an expert at this stuff and you'll start throwing stuff out all over the place. But I always suggest, especially with clothing items, if you're going to do a declutter of your clothing, make sure you give it to charity because there's probably someone out there who's really struggling who could probably do with a new outfit. So not only are you clearing space for yourself energetically in order to bring in more abundance, but you're actually creating abundance for somebody else who gets to receive those items. If you'd really like to supercharge your manifesting abilities, right now I have a little offer, a little freebie, which explains why one-size-fits-all manifesting programs don't work and what you can do to start manifesting in a new and soul-aligned way. Now, decluttering can form part of this process. It depends on who you are, but for most people, decluttering is actually a positive thing. Actually, I think for everyone. Click on the button that I have put on my website where I'm posting the recording for this, or the link below in the show notes, and enter your details, get your copy, and don't forget to confirm your subscription or you'll miss out. So we'll see you next time. See ya.